Elizabeth D one more time. Maybe I'll see Elizabeth D one more time.
I was in the hospital for all of 11 days. For all the fun I didn't have, somehow I still had to pay. Maybe it was worrying, maybe it was dreaming, or just something I heard someone say. This happens when you get old, still I don't think of myself that way. Esther and Diane took me walking all over 7th floor. Dudley brought Mad magazines from the comic book store. Pat brought Kerouac, Patsy brought flowers, and Jan stayed for hours so long. And Jono brought the paper on which I wrote down this song. Then I get home after living on IV for 11 days. I wanted to lose weight, but I don't recommend doing it this way. My jeans don't fit so tight and I'm starting to look good in that tiny old t-shirt. But when my cat tried to make biscuits on my belly, let me tell you, that hurt. Friends held benefits, helped me out with my rent. And I lost count of the emails and thank you notes that I sent. The one that stands out in my mind was when I told one friend that I'd been cut and stapled, and she wasn't sure what that meant. Now my incision looks a lot like a painting by Keith Haring. If I've given you too many details, you can thank me for sharing. I can't be thankful enough to my friends for their caring. And my apologies to all of those I succeeded in scaring. People say I should write songs about this or that now and then. This one came to me, but I don't ever wanna go through that again. When I went back to visit, the nurse could not look me straight in the eye. She just said, "Congratulations for getting out of this place alive."
the haves from the have-not-haves, built a fire between us, and hope like hell to raise the phoenix, to tear the world in two, the truths from the half, the truth, the lies, and the bad disguises, from the facts and Nobel Prizes, yeah. These were once good lands of good neighbors and good friends. We used to fight like dancers, one call with different answers. These were open lands, and strangers were our future friends. But fences make for consequences. We're prisoners of our own defenses, yeah. Now our heart's been broken, lost our way but found it stolen, hidden in a storm of nothing, a hurricane of newsmen blushing. Now our eyes are bleeding, and tears of the loss of reason, a pool of our own objections, honest men with no reflections, yeah. Here's the choice, my sister, gentle warrior, fierce resistor, fill the sky like blackbirds, or sit and watch the world spin backwards. Here's the choice, my brother, old soldier, different drummer, march hard to break the borders, or stand guard the old world orders. Here's the choice, my child, raise your hands and reconcile, while the king kneels down before us. It's time for you to rise in chorus. It's time to set our anger free. It's time for facts to shake beliefs. It's time to name a new North Star. It's time for flames to skewer the dark. It's time to shake the voting booth. It's time for us to scream the truth. Now it's time, my friends, it's time to make us whole again. Just as the world revolves, let's get these broken days resolved.
That's Danny Schmidt. Prayer for the Sane. That's a current song from Danny Schmidt, just a single off of YouTube. Before Danny Schmidt was Gina Forsythe. That's a song from 2012 when Gina visited the hospital from her album Promised Land. Before Gina Forsythe, Michael Smith with the Ballad of Elizabeth Dark from the album Such Things Are Finally Done. This is Folk and Acoustic Music. My name is Michael Stock, here every week on 91.3 WLRN and HD1 Miami-Fort Lauderdale, 91.5 WKWM and HD1 Marathon Key West, 90.7 WFLV HD4 West Palm Beach, and 101.9 NPR for the Palm Beaches.
Next time on Sundial, a University of Miami doctor says the pandemic won't be getting better in South Florida anytime soon. Plus, Miami Beach Mayor Dan Gelber wants to change the image of his city from that of a party city. And
They want to get on the field. They know it's important for these kids to be out on the field. They just don't know when it's going to be.
The future of high school sports. That's next time on Sundial with me, Luis Hernandez.
That's Monday, tomorrow, starting at 1 o'clock. Released a song a few years back, and it brings to mind what happened in Congress this past week, a confrontation between a man and a woman. And the woman, Congressman Christina Cortez, Osenia Cortez, from New York, has not taken the apology correctly, I suppose. Or she has taken it correctly, but she didn't really accept the apology. Well, here's Friction Farm to kind of address that a little bit.
Spark falls on tinder to ignite a raging fire growing much too big to fight. Malicious mobs may tattoo numbers on the wrists, but there will always be angels in our midst. There will always be angels in our midst. There will always be angels in our midst. Be a woman who persists, be a man who coexists. Be an angel, be an angel, be an angel in our midst. There will always be, 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 there will always be angels in our midst.
There's something happening
year. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there telling me I've got to beware. It's time we stop, children. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. There's battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds, getting so much resistance from behind. It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. People in the street singing songs and carrying signs, mostly say hooray for our side. Think it's time we stop, baby. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Paranoia strikes deep into your life, it will creep. It starts when you're always afraid. You step out of line, the man come and take you away. It's time we stop, children. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop. Baby, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
Let me dream of another morning and a time so long ago when the sweet magnolias blossomed, cotton fields were white as snow. Catfish John was a river hobo, and he lived down by the river's bend. Looking back, I still remember I was glad to be his friend. Mama said, don't go near that river. Don't go hanging round old Catfish John. Come the morning, I'd always be there, walking in his footsteps in the sweet Delta dawn. He was born a slave in the town of Vicksburg, traded for a chestnut mare, but he never spoke in anger, though his load was hard to bear. Mama said, don't go near that river, and don't go hanging round old Catfish John. Come the morning, I'd always be there, walking in his footsteps in the sweet Delta dawn. Be a walking in his footsteps in the sweet Delta dawn.
Catfish John. That's Ruby Lovett from her latest It's a Hard Life. Before Ruby Lovett, we listened to the Traveling McCurries. That's basically the children of Del McCurry, the famous bluegrass musician. The Traveling McCurries, For What It's Worth, a song originally written by Stephen Stills, performed by Buffalo Springfield back in 1967. And opening up that set, Friction Farm, There Will Always Be. Here's Jim Page.
Bang, 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 another high school massacre. Trench coat terror, we're walking down the long, dark hall. Like a video game gone real, Oh my God, they're gonna kill them all. And they almost did. They were good, clean kids. It's not supposed to happen, but it did. Inside Colorado, the stadium was filled with the dearly beloved, all gathered in silence. And all of the tears and the trembling fears of a culture gone crazy with violence. And their minds were numb in the shivering sunlight. It's not supposed to happen, but it did. And the singer sang out about the love of Jesus and the faraway reach of the Savior's good right hand. And the prayers were spoke, but no Lazarus awoke from the terminal peace of this damaged land. And their eyes were glazed. These were dangerous days. It's not supposed to happen, but it did. And the president spoke with a voice like gun smoke. He said, there's too much aggression. Our ways will have to change. And the bombers he sent off to Kosovo went, oh, but nobody seemed to notice anything strange. And how would you feel beneath the sky made of steel? It's not supposed to happen, but it did. And the general droned while his bright metal shone, and for peace he fairly did shout it. And he never looked back at what he did in Iraq, and nobody asked him about it. They just tried to accept as they silently wept. It's not supposed to happen, but it did. And the fighter planes flew through the stadium blue. It was an honor formation, a thundering roar. And the squadron leader, he was a high school graduate, and he loved his alma mater, and that's what it was for. And reality spun with its anchor undone. It's not supposed to happen, but it did. Please don't think me a fool, uncaring or cruel, but I have to ask questions where questions have grown. Who are these ones with their official big guns, and how dare they complain about the violence they have sown? My heart is undone for these friends and relations whose lives have gone hollow and may never repair. Oh, but the hypocrisy screams when I think of these monsters pretending to care. And this silence will roar in this country of war. The silence will roar. It's not supposed to happen, but it did. It's not supposed to happen, but it did. It's not supposed to happen, but it did.
you could hear me now, if you could hear me somehow, if you could hear the words that I'm thinking about a world on fire, good thoughts lost in the mire, and it seems like no one's listening. If you could see me now, if you could see me somehow, if you could see the world where we're living, where the money's in charge and the black coal barge, and there's no more fish to be fishing. If you could hear me now, if you could hear me somehow, if you could hear what my soul is screaming, that we are one in the land of the sun, and there's no more fear of dreaming. If you could know me now, if you could know me somehow, if you could know the pain that I'm feeling, if you know my heart's being torn apart by the way good folks is treated, if you could see me now, if you could see me somehow, if you could see the things that I'm seeing, that the people win and prosper in the end, and leave something to believe in. If you could hear me now, if you could hear me somehow, if you could hear the thoughts that I'm spinning, the time is short by any report, and there's more to do than singing. If you could know me now, if you could know me somehow, if you could know the things that I'm reading, that peace is stalled without prosperity for all, let the flowers and the weeds in. If you can
along the Battery in Charleston, South Carolina. The ancient silent cannons point to sea. In 1851, they fired on Fort Sumter. The dead and wounded still cry out to you and me. Why are the guns still firing? Why are the innocent laid low? Why is this war still raging? That should have ended long ago. That war was fought in part to put an end to slavery, the nation's shame we never should forget. 150 years ago, the gunners finally rested, but shameless violence still enslaves us yet. Why are the guns still firing? Why are the innocent laid low? Why is this war still raging? That should have ended long ago. Now 9 new souls are added to the millions who've lost their lives in this uncivil war. And it remains unto us the living to spike the guns of hate forevermore. Why are the guns still firing? Why are the innocent laid low? Why is this war still raging? That should have ended long ago. Why are the guns still firing? Why are the innocent laid low? Why is this war still raging? That should have ended long ago. That should have ended long ago.
Why Are the Guns Still Firing? That's a song written by Cy Khan, performed there by Joe Jenks. The CD is called The Forgotten, Recovered Treasures from the Pen of Cy Khan. So all the songs on the CD are written by Cy Khan. Before that were the Mammals. Their new CD is called No Net, and we listened to If You Can Hear Me Now. And before the Mammals, Jim Page. It's Not Supposed to Happen, but It Did, from his album Getting Squeezed. We just listened to a song from Cy Khan that Joe Jenks put out, a whole album of Cy Khan music. Cy's had a trio of albums recently put out by other artists, one of his funny songs, and I'll play one now by Sarah Lynch Thomason and Sam Gleaves called I Have Known Women, songs by Cy Khan celebrating women's lives and struggles. So this is written by Cy Khan, performed here from the new album, Sarah Lynch Thomason and Sam Gleaves. This is called No More, No More.
I worked in that woman's kitchen, scrubbed that woman's floors, did that woman's dishes. No more, no more. I sewed that woman's dresses, opened that woman's doors, kept that woman's secrets. No more, no more, no more, no more, no more, no more. New day coming. No more, no more. I hung that woman's laundry, washed that woman's drawers, stood still while she beat me. No more, no woman's feet, wrapped that woman's sores, endured that name she called me. No more, no more, no more, no more, no more, no more. New day coming, no more, no more. Bought off that woman's husband, diapered that woman's child, taught that kid good manners, though he still grew rough and wild. I waited on that woman's friends, did that woman's chores, made that woman's life easy. No more, no more, no more, no more, no more, no more. New day coming, no more, no more. I walked 10 miles to home till my feet grew red and sore, endured that woman's anger. No more, no more. I covered for that woman's lies, heard her rage and roar, suffered along in silence. No more, no more, no more, no more, no more, no more. New day coming, no more, no more, no more, no more, no more, no more. New day coming, no more, no more.
Miguel, my brother, he's 11. I am Alma, I am 7, old enough to remember home. The sound of gunfire in the night, an ordinary part of life, at least the only life I've ever known. Miguel refused to cry the day headed north from Ecuador, USA. Even when we gave our dog away, even after throwing stones to make her stay. He says the ghost of Abuelito comes to him when he's afraid. His spirit comes down from the stars, still smells of coffee and cigars, and when he is there, Miguel is brave. Abuelito wanted it that way. Across the border things got tense, with our backs against the fence, all those uniforms and guns. Americanos took our mother in one direction and us the other, and they haven't seen our mother since. Inside 100 babies cry, and I can't stop myself from always asking why. When will my mama come to get me? Did she go off and forget me? Miguel just takes my hand and sighs. He says the ghost of Abuelito comes to us when we're afraid. His spirit comes down from the stars, still smells of coffee and cigars, and when he is there we'll both be brave. Abuelito wanted it that way. He says Abuelito told him America will always take you in. Her gates are guarded by a goddess. She welcomes you no matter where you've been. Minutes to hours, days to weeks, Miguel, my brother, hardly speaks. Bit by bit, he's disappearing. I asked him if he'd say the prayer, the one that brings Abuelito here. He says Abuelito's hard of hearing. Inside 100 babies cry, ones that are old enough to talk keep asking why. When will my mama come to get me? Did she go off and forget me, and I take their tiny hands and lie. I say the ghosts of abuelos guard us as we sleep under the moon. Abuelos hate to see us suffer. They're out searching for our mothers, and they'll bring our mothers soon. Abuelos hate to see us suffer. They're out searching for our mothers, and they'll bring our mothers soon.
Learning to kill is a matter of habit. The more you've done it, the better you're at it. It starts in the alleys of Sichem at night. The borderlines blur in the evening light. A rifle butt bangs on an old rusty door. Where is your father? Get down on the floor. Soon it gets serious, a curfew's declared. The city falls silent, there's death in the air. Cocking his weapon with shaking fingers, grits his teeth as he's hogging the trigger. Young blood rushes, his heart pounds. He knows it gets easier the next time around. They're but objects and shadows, not women and men. Learning to kill is a natural thing. Learning to fear is a matter of habit. The more you've done it, the better you're at it. News from above reaches the street. There's no hope of living, the end is so near. Tidings of terror, a raven's crow. Shutter your windows, lock up your homes. We're just a handful, a tiny country surrounded by evil. They won't let us be. They have hate in their hearts and in all that they bring. Learning to fear is a natural thing. It's a matter of habit. The more you've seen it, the better you're at it. Every boy has a tyrant's desire. Hands behind the head, legs spread wide. These are times of danger, times of despair. No room for compassion, a soldier can't care. Our neighbors are vermin, they're used to the blood. How can they feel pain when they live in the mud? Through a cruel routine, a soldier is born. Ignorance soon turns to evil and war. Oh, Israel's land is for Israel's kin. Cruelty comes as a natural thing. It's a natural thing. It will find a way if you just let it in. It'll be strange at first, but then you'll see it. That learning to love is a matter of being. Oh, being human is a matter of habit. A few baby steps and you get better at it. To be for a minute, just now just recall the opposite side of the towering wall. But our hearts have hardened along with our skin. We built a bubble and let no one else in. We'll be staring in wonder as the angel falls. Then being human will be a matter of course. Will be a matter of course.
A Matter of Habit is a song from Norwegian singer-songwriter Modi. It's from the album Unsongs, which features 12 songs that have been banned in different countries. A Matter of Habit was banned in Israel, then the band was not allowed to play there. Before Modi, we listened to Kristen Granger. Her new album with their band True North is called Ghost Tattoo, and we listened to Ghost of Abulito. And before Kristen Granger, Sarah Lynch Thomason and Sam Gleaves with a song written by Sai Khan called No More, No More from the album I Have Known Women. This is folk and acoustic music. I'm going to lighten up the mood a little bit with new music from Alistair Mook. Alistair Mook's new CD is called Be a Pain, an album for young and old leaders, and it recently won the Parents' Choice Gold Award. And this is a tribute to, and I'll be featuring some songs here by Pete Seeger. This is called Go Pete Go.
Well, old Pete Seeger was a man, a banjo in his hand. He spread his messages of justice all throughout the land. Old Pete Seeger fought for fairness, peace, and civil rights, for working folks of every color, brown and black and white. Well, round and round, go Pete, go, round and round, I say. Planted seeds, fighting wrong until your dying day. Yeah, round and round, we're up next, time to take our turn. 'Tis the season, grab your hammer, show 'em what we've learned. Well, old Pete Seeger went to Harvard for a couple years, but he dropped out and rode the rails, still wet behind the ears. He studied in the migrant camps and down inside the mines. He struck and stood for stronger unions on that picket line. Yeah, round and round, go Pete, go, round and round, I say. Planted seeds, fighting wrong until your dying day. Well, old Pete Seeger sang a song from labor rights had come. He helped to shape and turn it into We Shall Overcome. Yeah, old Pete Seeger sang another, that's a real fine jammer. He and Lee Hayes wrote and called it If I Had a Hammer. Round and round, go Pete, go, round and round, I say. Planted seeds, fighting wrong until your dying day. Yeah, round and round, we're up next, time to take our turn. 'Tis the season, grab your hammer, show 'em what we've learned. Come on. Well, listen, old Pete Seeger had a wife, Tashi was her name. Tashi worked as hard as Pete and kept him on his game. Tashi stood with Pete in Congress, 1955. He wouldn't name no names or plead the fifth against all advice. Yeah, round and round, go Pete, go, round and round, I say. Planted seeds, fighting wrong until your dying day. Well, old Pete Seeger was blacklisted all throughout the 50s, but old Pete still found ways to play because old Pete was sneaky. Pete would go to schools and sing for kids of every age, inspired them to join the fight, some even took the stage. Yeah, round and round, go Pete, go, round and round, I say. Planted seeds, fighting wrong until your dying day. Yeah, round and round, we're up next, time to take our turn. 'Tis the season, grab your hammer, show what we've learned. Go ahead. stood against the war in Vietnam. He didn't think we should have sent them soldiers to Saigon. He sang, lay down your sword and shield, no more war you'll study. He went on the TV, sang, we're waist deep in the big muddy. Round and round, go Pete, go, round and round I sang. Planting seeds, fighting wrong until your dying day. Yes, old Pete Seeger saw pollution up and down the Hudson. His solution was to oversee a boat's construction. Pete and others sailed that boat, they sang and gathered cash. They helped to clean the river up by getting new laws passed. All round and round, go Pete, go, round and round I sing. Planted seeds, fighting wrong until your dying day. Yeah, round and round, we're up next. Time to take our turn. 'Tis the season, grab your hammer, show what we've learned. Old Pete Seeger marched with Martin, stood with Cesar Chavez, rode with Woody, Mentor, Dylan, Springsteen, and Joan Baez. Old Pete Seeger sang and fought till he was 94. There's never been another like him since then or before. Well, round and round, go Pete, go, round and round I say. Planted seeds, fighting wrong until your dying day. Yeah, round and round, we're up next. Time to take our turn. 'Tis the season, grab your hammer, show what we've learned. Ahead.
Mr. Charlie Lindbergh, he flew to old Berlin, got him a big old iron cross, and then flew back again to Washington, Washington. Mrs. Charlie Lindbergh, she come all dressed in red, said I'd like to sleep in that pretty White House bed in Washington, Washington. Lindy said to Annie, we'll get there by and by, but we'll have to split the bed up with a few corrupted guys in Washington, Washington. Hitler wrote to Lindy, said do your very worst. So Lindy formed the outfit that we call America First in Washington, Washington. Lindy told the firsters we'll do the same as France, make a deal with Hitler and then we'll get our chance in Washington, Washington. Then all around the country, Lindy he did fly, praising Adolf Hitler and telling racist lies about Washington, Washington. Hitler said to Lindy, stall them all you can. I'm gonna bomb Pearl Harbor with the help of old Japan in Washington, Washington. And one December morning, the bombs come from Japan, landing on Pearl Harbor, killing 1,500 men in Washington, Washington. That's when the group disbanded, but rest assured, my friends, they'll have different names and faces when the firsters come again to Washington, Washington. Now the message for us voters, for fascists to get beat, we've got to send good, honest, working folks to take the seats in Washington, Washington. And the message for us people before we cash our checks, they say America first, but they mean America next in Washington, Washington.
a reader of newspapers, so he'd occasionally have songs about what was going on in the news. And the owner of the station really believed in the First Amendment. He thought everybody had a right to be heard from, so he let a communist have 15 minutes on the air every day. And Woody was allowed 15 minutes on the air every day. He got paid all of $1, but he mimeographed a little songbook, and he said, I got my songs in this book. If you send me 25 cents, I'll send you a copy. So he made a little extra money by selling his 25-cent songbook. It was called On a Slow Train Through California, which was a takeoff. There was a book of jokes sold in the Midwest on a slow train through Arkansas. Anyway, one day he said to the communist commentator, whose name was Ed Robbins, he said, Ed, do you ever listen to my program? I listen to yours. And Ed was a little apologetic. He said, well, Woody, I have to confess, I don't usually listen to country music, and you're on before me, and I usually just arrive in time for my program. And Woody says, well, you come early tomorrow and listen to my song. I think you'll be interested. And next day, Ed heard, Mr. Tom Mooney is free. Mr. Tom Mooney is free. Done got a pardon from that old jailhouse warden, Governor Culbert L. Olson's decree. Well, after the program, Ed said, Woody, that's a great song. Do you know there's going to be a big mass meeting tonight? Tom Mooney's going to speak there. They'd love to hear your song. Would you come? And then he had second thoughts. He says, Woody, it's a little left wing. And Woody said, left wing, chicken wing, don't bother me none. I've been in the red all my life. So he went with Ed to the rally. There were 1,000 people listening to speech after speech after speech after speech, and Woody fell asleep. Ed had to walk across the stage and shake him. Woody, you're on. Woody shook his head, picked up his guitar, walked to the microphone, and he sung his song. He got a standing ovation. He had to sing the song twice. And Will Geer, this actor, was in the audience. He goes up to Woody after the program. He said, Woody, I'm going up tomorrow to put on a program for the striking workers in the lettuce fields up near Bakersfield. Would you come with me? They're mostly Okies like you. They'd love your songs. So pretty soon, Will and Woody were a team. And they sang at fundraising parties in Hollywood as well as up in the lettuce fields and so on. That's when Woody made up more songs like, if you ain't got the do-re-mi, boy, better go back to beautiful Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Georgia, Tennessee.
Don't you know it's darkest before the dawn? And it's this thought keeps me moving on. If we could heed these early warnings, the time is now quite early morning. If we could heed these early warnings, the time is now quite early morning. Some say that humankind won't long endure, but what makes them so doggone sure? I know that you who hear my singing could make those freedom bells go ringing. I know that you who hear my singing could make those freedom bells go ringing. While we live, until we have no more to give. And when these fingers can strum no longer, and the old banjo, the young one's stronger. And when these fingers can strum no longer, and the old banjo to the young ones stronger. So though it's darkest before the dawn, these thoughts keep us moving on through all this world of joy and sorrow. We still can have singing tomorrows through all this world of joy and sorrow. We still can have singing tomorrows.
A song by Pete Seeger, Quiet Early Morning, performed there by Bill and Eli Paris from their album We the People. We Are the People. Before Bill and Eli, we listened to Pete Seeger himself from the album Pete Remembers Woody. Of course, that's Woody Guthrie. Pete was telling the story of Woody meeting Will Geer, the actor, and becoming politicized. It was Will who brought Woody to New York in 1940. And before Pete Seeger's story, we listened to Spook Candy. His latest CD is called Dedicated to the Proposition, Songs of Pete, Woody, and Me. That's Spook Candy. And we listened to Mr. Charlie Lindbergh, America First. And opening up that set was Alistair Mook and Friends. Brand new CD from Alistair called Be a Pain, an album for young and old leaders. We listened to Go Pete Go, Grab Your Hammer. This is folk and acoustic music. One more hour to go here on 91.3 WLRN and HD1 Miami-Fort Lauderdale, 91.5 WKWM and HD1 Marathon Key West, 90.7 WFLV HD4 West Palm Beach, and 101.9 NPR for the Palm Beaches. We'll return with a little news update and the public storyteller after these messages.
The Sunshine Economy takes you to the downtown high-rise offices of CEOs, to the farm fields bordering the Everglades, all in an effort to better understand business in South Florida and how it affects all of us. I'm Tom Hudson. The Sunshine Economy returns to WLRN on Mondays in September, made possible by Kaufman Rawson.
WLRN is South Florida's trusted source of news and information. If you are a business owner and are looking to reach WLRN's audience and support independent journalism in your community, email us at underwriting@friendsofwlrn.org.
Donating as a Sustaining Monthly member is one simple action that will help make it possible for thousands of others to connect with news and ideas on WLRN for years to come. Monthly giving breaks your donation into smaller, easy monthly amounts. Sustaining donations help WLRN thrive all year round. Once you become a sustainer, you can just sit back and enjoy the programs. You'll enjoy them ever so much more, knowing you've helped make them happen. Become a sustaining member today at WLRN.org or call 866-247-9576.
We're funded by members and by Anderson Landscaping, specializing in the complete landscape design and installation of your outdoor project, and committed to helping you create your own personal outdoor paradise. Details at todanderson.com.
Ted Grossman for Night Train. We're going to remember this week a doubleheader feature. Kenny Burrell, his 2 volumes tribute to Duke Ellington, 1975, and the Hank Jones Trio, honoring Hank, from 2004. 8 p.m. Sunday on WLRN, WLRN.org, the WLRN app.
And now a short pause for some important updates from our WLRN news team. The state is reporting more than 9,300 new cases of COVID-19 today. Florida's total death toll during the pandemic is now up to 5,972, according to the Department of Health. Since yesterday, Broward County has reported 25 new deaths. Miami-Dade reported 9 new deaths, and Palm Beach reported 3. There were no reported new deaths in Monroe County, though the Florida Department of Health in Monroe County confirmed 4 new cases of dengue fever yesterday. That brings this year's total for dengue fever cases in the Keys up to 21. The Florida Keys Mosquito Control District is increasing efforts in the Upper Keys area. The cases have been found in Key Largo. The Department of Health advises people to try to protect themselves from mosquito bites, which transmit dengue. Dengue can present as a flu-like illness with severe muscle aches and pain, fever, and sometimes a rash. Usually there are no respiratory symptoms. Follow WLRN on social media for more updates on the coronavirus. We're WLRN on Facebook and at WLRN on Twitter and Instagram. Welcome to The Public Storyteller. My name is Michael Stock with Dr. Karen Neal. Karen is a professional storyteller and teaches at Florida Atlantic University. Hi, Karen.